Hi guys, my name is Beatrice and I'm the director of Amazing Speech Therapy. Amazing Speech Therapy is a social enterprise in Singapore that provides speech therapy services to children and adults. Today, I'll be sharing a little bit more about our Decaf, Dysphagia Cafe concept that integrates therapy and lifestyle. Gonna start you guys off with a video. Hi, my name is Beatrice, founder of Amazing Speech Therapy. Today, we're going to find out what Singaporeans know about swallowing difficulty. Let's go! Hello, Auntie.
Hello.
What do you know about swallowing difficulties?
Swallowing difficulty.
Voucher will answer.
Of course, God.
Okay.
Swallowing difficulty, I don't know. Swallowing difficulty, I guess, got something to do with problem in swallowing food.
People can't swallow properly.
Yeah, people who can't swallow properly.
Okay, and who do you think would have swallowing difficulties?
Yeah, old people.
Old people get it, right? They can't swallow well sometimes. Like what happened to my husband. He was in ICU for about 100 days. And then somebody got to teach him how to swallow. And then now he says he eats biscuit, the food gets stuck in between the throat. No, he said all the dust in there. So he'll be trying to get it out.
As you can see, not many people know what swallowing difficulty actually is. People with swallowing difficulty are at risk of food and drink entering their lungs. Some signs might include coughing, choking, throat clearing when they swallow. Unfortunately, these people are not able to dine outside because they have to be on special diets and require a trained professional to feed them. So what can we do for them? Introducing Decaf, Singapore's first and only Dysphagia Cafe. People with swallowing difficulties can now receive therapy while enjoying our range of special diets specifically tailored for them. They can also enjoy a meal with their family, as normal food options are also available for loved ones. At Amazing Speech Therapy, we believe in innovating and creating new experiences to maximize our patients' quality of life. We look forward to seeing you at Decaf. Alright, so Decaf is Singapore's first and only Dysphagia Cafe, and I'm going to take you on our journey on how we started and what we have achieved. So why did we start Decaf? Because I am very passionate about working with people who have swallowing difficulties. Over the years, it really gave me an insider view of their struggles and constraints in current society. Living with swallowing difficulties can be so devastating, but there is not much support in society to integrate these people and allow them to have a social experience. Therefore, I decided to improve the lives of these people and create a safe space where they can go to enjoy a delicious meal with their friends, their family, even with new people, without facing social stigma, being able to make friends like others, but at the same time also receive the swallowing therapy that they need. So looking at the social needs in Singapore, I'm just going to quickly touch through. There is a lack of resources in the community. So there are actually no dining places that allows people with swallowing difficulties to go to so that, they're able to have a puree meal or have a minced consistency meal outside. Also, there is a lot of social stigma. Because of the lack of awareness of swallowing difficulties in Singapore, people don't understand what this problem actually is. So, these people might be on feeding tubes, they might require people to feed them, they might take a long time to eat, they might drool or have food and drinks coming out from their mouth. Sometimes they even cough or choke when they're eating. And just imagine, if they go to a restaurant and they present with these symptoms, people would tend to look at them and pass judgment and make them feel uncomfortable, which is why a lot of people with swallowing difficulty don't actually go out. In addition, there is a lack of swallowing therapy in the community. It's usually done in the hospital, and in community settings, it's just not easy to find swallowing therapy. And all this actually results in a poor quality of life for both the patients as well as the family. So what I wanted to do is actually to create an opportunity for these people to be able to go out to a public setting to enjoy a delicious meal of their modified consistency. You know, for them to be able to go to this place and feel safe and comfortable, that people will not look at them, stare at them, and make them uncomfortable about eating. In addition, because we are also a therapy clinic, we want to be able to provide easily accessible swallowing therapy to these people. We want to be able to incorporate lifestyle and pleasure in the swallowing therapy session, because we feel that therapy and lifestyle, if you integrate it together, the whole experience would just be a lot more pleasurable. And lastly, we want to be able to provide these people with a social support network where these people with swallowing difficulties can meet other people, knowing that they're not alone in this journey. They get support from other people suffering from the same condition as them. And also for their carers to meet other carers, to share tips on modified diet, to share tips on coping with a loved one with swallowing difficulties, and just to make friends. All right, so this idea actually came out in 2017, and we decided to do a proof of concept to see if the demand is there, to see if it actually works. So in 2017, we actually organized a pop-up Dysphagia Cafe, and this was featured in Channel News Asia under a program called Savoring the Future. So let me bring you to another screen and just show you a snippet of this program.
My patient, and this is her husband Chong. So Amy had a stroke and she is suffering from a swallowing difficulty. For Amy, currently she's on a puree diet or blended diet, and all her liquids have to be thickened to this consistency in order for her to swallow safely without choking on the liquids. I've been working with her for more than 3 years.
Let me just stop you there. This calls for a very well done, Amy. Good on you. Good on you. Good. You've come so far.
So the caregiver prepares porridge for her. So every day, they will have to think about what to put in the porridge, and then when it comes out blended, it doesn't look very appetizing.
Guys, look, I'm a chef, I'm a foodie, and I think that food adds a lot of color to our lives. And it's so heartwarming to know that for folks like Amy, there's a reason to enjoy food. There's another reason to enjoy life. So I don't want to hold us back. I think we're all quite hungry. We want to taste the food, shall we?
Grace served up a variety of delights from carrot soup to black pepper chicken shepherd's pie and fish in soy sauce. I found out that dysphagia is a common condition that affects 14% of people aged 50 and above. And with an aging population where the number of Singaporean seniors is projected to triple by 2030, I can see potential for the business, helping those with eating difficulties feel confident that they can still have a good quality of life.
All right, so that was our initial Dysphagia Cafe pop-up idea. So bringing back to reality, the current moments. Okay, so you can see some photos from our Dysphagia Cafe. All right, and in 2019, we decided to set up Decaf. So Decaf is Southeast Asia's first Dysphagia Cafe. And its unique selling point is to provide a dining experience for individuals with swallowing difficulty and receive therapy in a cafe-like setting. So Decaf represents a step towards redefining the boundaries of traditional speech therapy as we advocate for and improve the quality of lives of individuals with dysphagia. So Decaf is actually located in our therapy clinic. And you can see over here, we have Madam Kwan, who has Parkinson's disease. and she comes to Decaf for therapy as well as to try our modified food. So imagine Madam Kwan in a normal restaurant. She will get a lot of stares from people. She takes a long time to eat, and she might feel pressured to eat faster if the restaurant is busy. Okay, so just talking about some key features of Decaf. So ultimately, we want to be able to provide therapy in Decaf as well. And we have a very good and strong team of dysphagia therapists, so speech therapists who are highly experienced with working with patients with swallowing difficulties. All right, and another key feature is social integration. We want people with swallowing difficulties to meet others like them, and also their carers can meet other carers. Being able to socialize and just be in this setting where you have other people who understand your condition, who can share struggles, who can share strategies, it definitely, gives you the support system that you need. Okay, and also our modified diets have been curated through years of R&D and manufactured locally in a factory with expertise from a food technician and a dietitian. So every dish is actually thoughtfully presented and prepared to enhance the food's appearance and taste. And all this food is actually presented, plated in-house by our speech therapists. So you can see in the photo above, we have puree sweet potato bowls with gula melaka and coconut cream. And below we have flame-seared minced chicken with minced pumpkin balls. So although it is a minced diet and a puree diet, we do shape our food to make it look more appetizing for the patients. All right, and we also host a lot of events in Decaf. So one event over here that I'm sharing is actually our Decaf Plate Off. So Decaf Plate Off is a fun event that we did to create awareness for swallowing difficulties. We invited speech therapists from different settings in Singapore, some working with adults, some working with kids, or any professionals who are just interested in dysphagia food to actually come to a Decaf and, participate in a plating competition. So we have all the food over here lined up, all in pureed form. And these participants actually have to create their piece of art, to make the food look good and appetizing, even though it is in puree format. Yeah, so you can see some of the food that we've plated in Decaf, and we have a lot of fun doing the food plating as well. All right, and Decaf is so successful in the clinic, but we don't want to just stay in our little bubble. We want to go out and create a bigger social impact. So we decided to bring the whole Decaf concept out into the community. So we started reaching out to social service agencies, charities outside in the community to do collaborations. So this is a collaboration with SPD, the Society of the Physically Disabled. It is a very big charity in Singapore, and we are honored to be able to host this fine dining Dysphagia Cafe event in their premise for their clients. So you can see in the photo, we have plated our food nicely. We brought all our plates, our utensils, our decorative items to their location to create a whole fine dining atmosphere for these clients. And you can see over here, these are some of the beneficiaries from SPD that's enjoying the food. And it was really heartwarming because a lot of these beneficiaries are from the lower income group, and they don't actually have the opportunity to experience a fine dining meal before. On top of that, they have dysphagia, which makes it even harder for them to assess, fine dining dysphagia experiences. So that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to go out and create the experiences for them. Okay, so moving on. We also do a lot of research and development because we do believe that with the aging population, there's going to be more and more people with swallowing difficulties, and the future is going to be very different when it comes to being able to enjoy mealtime experiences for these people. So we do a lot of collaborations, and one of the collaboration involves a polytechnic, or a school in Singapore. We work together with the food tech faculty to create and refine this dysphagia diets. So we actually helped to create this one dysphagia ice cream. One is a very popular flavor in Singapore, very local. A lot of elderly Singaporeans enjoy this flavor. And, this dysphagia ice cream actually won an award in the World Food Innovation Awards. So, it was a really good experience to be able to be part of this dysphagia diet creation. And also, moving on, we also want to see how far can we push the boundaries to create a dysphagia meal. As you know, dining is a social experience. We want to be able to enjoy good food, food that tastes good, presented nicely, and, be in a very comfortable environment. So how far can we push dysphagia diets? We can have nice dysphagia diets, but can we go and really do fine dining dysphagia diets? So that's something that at Amazing Speech Therapy, we want to test that concept. So we actually came up with a 6-course puree fine dining menu. So as you can see, everything on this menu is pureed with tableside presentation. So if we have a lobster bisque, we have the puree prawn, puree lobster. We will pour, the lobster soup over right in front of the patients. So we want them to be able to enjoy this kind of fine dining experience, even though they are on a dysphagia diet. So with that said, I'm going to wrap up my sharing session. We are very excited at Amazing Speech Therapy to continue pushing the boundaries, to innovate and think about what are the new things we can do, to help these people living with swallowing difficulties. And we are very open to any form of collaboration or anyone who wants to share our story and just raise awareness for dysphagia, not only in Singapore, but all over Asia and the rest of the world. So over here, you can find our contacts. Feel free to drop us an email at info@amazingspeechtherapy.sg, or you can also WhatsApp me on my phone, +65 81216691. Should you want to find out more about what we do at Amazing Speech Therapy and our future projects, or if you just want to, discuss about potential collaboration, we're more than happy to have a chat. Thank you guys for your time.
My name is Kuniko Masuda, and I'm from the Shangri-la Elderly Home in Japan. Thank you for your time today. First, let's talk about the situation of the elderly in each country. In Hong Kong, it is predicted that in about 20 years from 2010, about 1 in 4 of the population will be aged 65 or over. Therefore, it is a common concern for both Japan and Hong Kong how to fulfill the long period of time, about 20 years, between the age of 65 and the end of life. The main point of today's speech is that eating well by mouth improves the quality of life of the elderly and creates enjoyment. First, I will talk about the importance of providing safe, tasty, and nutritious foods by mouth to elderly people who have difficulty in swallowing. Next, I will discuss how to prepare tasty and visually appealing jelly and mousse meals. Let's start with the importance of eating safe, delicious, and nutritious food by mouth. As the physical functions weaken with age, the ability to chew decreases due to reduced saliva production, tooth loss, and ill-fitting dentures, and the ability to swallow food continues to decrease. As a result, the elderly person's appetite decreases and they may become dehydrated because they are less likely to feel thirsty. As physical functions go down, they become less sensitive to taste and prefer strong flavors. In the internal organs, the stomach mucosa atrophies due to decreased secretion. Caused by less pancreatic juice, less fat digestion and absorption, and also decreased bowel motility, people suffer from constipation. Problems associated with swallowing problem can be caused by diseases, and when these diseases prevent people from eating, they lose the pleasure of eating. In such a situation, fluid and nutrient intake may be impaired, and force feeding may lead to aspiration, pneumonia, or choking. If dehydration and low nutrition continue, there is a higher risk that the nursing care condition will become more severe, leading to a vicious cycle. Let's think about how to reduce the risk of such a vicious cycle and delay the severity of the disease from the aspect of diet. First, to understand swallowing problem, let's talk about the process of feeding. Food is sent from the preceding stage, where we see the taste of food, through the preparation stage, where the food is put together with a spoon or fork and put into the mouth to form a food lump to the oral. Pharyngeal and esophageal stages come in that order. It is important to make a food lump in the oral cavity in order for the food to pass through the throat and into the esophagus. Swallowing cannot take place unless the oral senses recognize the food lump. However, for elderly people who are unable to form food lumps in the mouth due to physical changes associated with aging, it is important to use cooking techniques to form severe food lumps. The solution is to cook meals in jelly or mousse form by using Gerrying agent. The thumb, hyoid bone, epiglottis, and Adam's apple, as shown in the upper right picture, must move properly to induce swallowing and trigger the swallowing reflex. The lower right picture shows the flow of the food lump during the pharyngeal phase. The most important thing for successful swallowing of food lumps is to have a good appetite. The next step is to cook the food to make it easier to ingest and swallow. The lumps should be soft enough to be crushed with the tongue and gums, and cohesive when chewed, as well as being less sticky and less likely to stick to mucous membranes. Food lumps devised in this way can be easily deformed when passing through the mouth and pharynx, making swallowing smoother and reducing aspiration. In this stage, we will talk about the history of feeding and swallowing adjusted diets in Japan. In Japan, named a life-saving pudding, a pudding-like meal with adjusted Gerrying agent was developed at the Junseian Elderly Home in 1988. At that time, only Gerrying agents such as agar and gelatin were available. But later, we studied meals using heating, cooling type Gerrying agents, and since then, various types of heating, cooling type Gerrying agents, heat resist Gerrying agents, and freezing resist Gerrying agents have been developed. And since the late 2010s, Gerrying agents that can be gelled simply by mixing at room temperature have been offered. Enzyme-based and enzyme-impregnated cooking methods have been developed that look almost like to regular food. This cooking method is superior, but the cooking time is longer. and the cost is higher than that of gerrying agents. That makes it difficult for elderly home to handle them. As a result, cooking with gerrying agents have become the most popular method for care meals served in elderly home. The new Swaring Adjustment Diet Classification 2021 has made it possible to properly classify the forms of care foods. It ranges from 0 jelly to code 4, and each code represents a stage of softness. 0 jelly and 0 tea are foods for Swaring training. Codes 1 through 4 are Swaring adjustment diets. We will use this table as a basic for comparing the softness of nursing care foods. These pictures are examples of meals prepared with gerrying agents at the elderly home. We are cooking steamed salmon with tartar sauce for elderly people's meals. Can you see the difference in softness? To make a mousse meal, it is put in a blender and hardened with a heat-resist gerrying agent to make a mousse. These cooking methods have made it possible to prepare Swaring meals of various softness that improve appetite, look good, and taste good. This page is a chart of the meals developed at the elderly home according to eating ability. The top row is for regular nursing care meals, followed by bite-sized meals, soft meals, and finally gerry meals. And the lower the row, the softer and easier the meals become. Next, let's talk about minced meals. In Japan, minced meals have long been provided as care food in many elderly homes. However, minced food is difficult to swallow because the ingredients break up in the mouth and are not cohesive, which increases the risk of aspiration pneumonia. Furthermore, small pieces of food do not go down the throat, resulting in more choking. When taking food on one's own, there are many spills and leftovers, which can cause problems with nutritional intake because the patient is unable to take enough nutrition. In order to decrease the risk of aspiration pneumonia, there is a trend to avoid the use of minced meals for people with swallowing problems. Next, we will consider how jellies and mousses can improve the QOL of meals. The picture on the left is a care food that is served in some facilities in Hong Kong. All the ingredients are mixed together, making it hard to know what they are eating, making it unappetizing. The taste of food is bad due to the mixture of ingredients. There is a risk of aspiration because the ingredients are not in crumbs. A mousse-like meal, like the one in the center picture, looks good because the ingredients are formed and you can easily identify what the ingredients are. This type of meal will help to stimulate appetite, and I hope we can change to this type of meal in the future. If cooking is difficult due to time or manpower, frozen mousse meals are available on the market, and it would be a good idea to make good use of them. Here, I will talk about how to cook tasty and good-looking care food. The items to keep in mind when cooking. First, the ingredients should be recognizable by appearance, smell, color, and shape. Second, use a blender to make the puree uniform. Third, use of different kinds of gerrying agents. Fourth is to turn warm congee into jelly. Fifth, considerations for eating friendly tableware. Even care food can be made to look gorgeous and look delicious. The picture on the left is a meal for the terminal stage, but it is prepared to look good and taste appetizing, so that the elderly people will eat them up by their mouth. The photo on the right is a soft meal. You can see jellied beer, thickened noodle, and sweet and sour pork mousse. There are many people with swallowing problem who can increase their appetite by providing them with moderate amounts of alcoholic beverages. In order to make a dish like the one on the previous page, it is important to homogenize the puree using a blender. The basic functions of a blender are to chop, grind, and puree, and the power, rotation speed, and performance of the cutter are very important. There are many different types of blenders, from small to large, but the key to choosing the right one is to consider the capacity needed in each facility or home and choose one that is easy to use. Budget and economic aspects are also important. The next step is to use different types of gelling agents. If you know the properties of each gelling agent and can differentiate them well, you can cook easily. Choose the suitable and proper gelling agent for each menu: hot dishes, the cold dishes, room temperature, and freezing. Next, I'll show you a video of the recipe using room temperature gelling agent. I hope you can see how easy it is to prepare nursing care food. Next, I will talk about congee jelly made with high temperature solidifying gelling agents. In fact, the staple food congee poses a risk of choking and aspiration. When the starch substance in rice is broken down by amylase, an enzyme produced by saliva, it tends to release water, and when it cools down, it becomes watery. As the congee cools, it becomes sticky and difficult to eat due to the starch. Although congee is a staple food, it is difficult for people with swallowing problem to eat. To make congee more palatable, enzyme-containing Gerrying agents can be used. They can be easily mixed with congee to make a safe and easy-to-eat congee jelly that is less sticky. Congee jelly is offered in many elderly homes in Japan. Next, I wrote about the comments of elderly people who ate the jelly and mousse meals. I have heard many comments such as, "It looks delicious and my appetite has returned." "It is easier to eat because I can mash it easily without teeth." "It is not left in pieces because it is made into lumps." It would be wonderful if we could hear from the elderly in Hong Kong as well. Finally, in Japan, recipe books have been published to make it easier for people at home to adopt care foods. For people who have difficulty in chewing and swallowing, the primary theme is to make meals that they can continue to eat every day. Eating even a spoonful of food every day by mouth is a good way to rehabilitate the elderly, so using recipe books to prepare and actually eat the food will help them to feel more cheerful. Thank you for your kind attention.